So agents, like we understood, are rules within Pega which will help us performing some background processing. To understand which, we did create a advanced agent which was generating notification based on whenever we have scheduled with respect to that particular agent, where we told every 30 seconds it has to check the queue, it has to wake up or should be running and then send across a notification to a user. Nothing else we did. I mean, a notification to a user based on whatever activity we had configured inside that. Yes or no? Did we do that? Right? In advanced agent, we specified advanced agent activity. As part of this activity, all we are saying here is wake up every 30 seconds and perform the steps in the activity is what we were saying, and we saw that a notification was being sent out to that corresponding user wherever he was. In the same way, to establish standard agent activity, standard agent is slightly different from advanced agents in the sense you can't control the management of that particular agent. Here in advanced agent, we are controlling the management. We are telling every 30 second wake up. So this particular advanced agent wakes up every 30 seconds and performs whatever you have specified in this activity. It happens because whatever directions we have given, the advanced agent wakes up and performs it. However, with a standard agent, in a standard agent, you can't do that. You can specify what you want to do with respect to that agent. For example, let us say there is one agent, Alpha Auto. This in this standard agent, I am also trying to run an activity. But here, the execution is not driven by us. It is actually queued. There is something called as auto queue management. Auto queue management is a mechanism where Pega internally takes care of queuing these items. How does this happen? You have to call one activity which is called as queue for agent. When you try to look up for that particular activity queue for agent, just search for queue for agent activity and you will see things. One is the one which you have customized. Other than that, there are two other instances. This activity will place an item in a table which is PRSys queues, which we saw in the last class. PRSys queues is a table which standard agent uses to insert a record to perform, to be picked up and performed. For example, right now we see three records are here. Let us say I run my flow again. In my flow, what we did, if you go back to our flow, customer flow, in this flow, we told we want to queue once the customer information was provided. I wanted to queue this item to be able to send a notification to the user. To do that, we customized the flow actions action tab. If you go to the flow action, customer details flow action, and you go to the action tab, you will see that there is a activity queue for agent which we had customized. We have configured that here. All we are saying here is inside that activity we are calling queue for agent activity, which is out of the box activity, and to that we are passing couple of parameters. What is that? The rule set name and the agent name. Yes or no? However, all this processing we didn't do for advanced agent. Advanced agent, we just set it up and it started throwing notifications to our the user. How? But for standard agent, you will have to do all this. Why? Because the auto queue management needs a record in this table, PRSys queues. So we have three records here. Whenever I try to execute the flow, there is a new record which gets inserted in that table. Let us try to see if that is happening. Let me run this customer flow. Let me run the customer flow and let's verify. Run. So it is creating a new work object. Now when I pass this particular assignment, it has to literally call Q4 agent and should insert a record in Q4 agent table. See, it moved to transaction flow action, which means it has already called it. Let's go and check how many records do we have here now. Do we see 4 records? See, 940. 940. So a new record got inserted into the table. Now this standard agent which is running, which is managed by Pega's master agent, it wakes that particular standard agent and forces it to perform whatever operation is specified. For example, in our standard agent, which is alpha auto, we have asked it to execute this activity. Let us open this activity and see what are we trying to do here. Here we are saying call this send email notification activity. So every 30 seconds, as long as the records are available here, it will pick up those records and execute it and perform the operation, whatever operation we have specified as part of that activity. Let us see if this activity is working. Let me just run this activity and see if it is working. What are we doing here? We are just trying to send a notification. We run this. Success. Perfect. As part of that activity, all that agent is doing is waking up and performing this task. What is this task? It is sending an email to this email from this email and with subject this and message is what we are saying. Let us go to our email and see if we have received any notification. Have I received any notification at 9:41? Yes, no. Standard agent notification we have received at 9:41, 0 minutes ago. Does it make sense, guys? How exactly standard agent also is performing the same activity, but there is a different way in which it is performing. You have to explicitly put an item in this particular table PRSys queues for it to pick up and perform the operation. In advanced agent, you don't have to do anything of that sort. This way, as many number of times this flow runs, those many items get created here. Those many items get created here. The activity which you will be using to insert a record into this thing is called as Q4 agent. Does it make sense? Q4 agent out of the box activity. See, Q4 agent. All it does is it pushes a record in this particular table. PRSys queues. Standard agent uses PRSys queues table to insert a record, and the standard agent wakes up the master agent wakes up the standard agent, whatever you have configured for the given period, whatever period you have configured it for, it wakes up, picks up record one by one and processes it. Does it make sense? Yes? No? So this queue has whatever items are there. If it is successfully processed, the status changes for that corresponding items. There are 3 statuses which we maintain for this. Success in successful is one, scheduled is one, and if it breaks, we'll call it broken process fail. So I tried few of the records and I was able to see that few of the processes got failed. See, I see broken process. So 3 statuses it maintains. When it is initiated, it will be in scheduled state. Record is inserted from the flow into standard into PR underscore sys underscore queues table by QUE for agent activity. The status is scheduled. Once the agent picks the record for processing. The status is in in hyphen processing. It happens really fast, like because it is happening within 30 seconds, we are not able to capture it. But this is what happens at the back end is what I am trying to explain here. It is scheduled. As soon as it is inserted, it is scheduled. Once the agent picks up the record for processing, it is in processing. If it is successfully able to perform all the steps, the later status is success or broken. If it is not able to perform it completely, then it marks it as broken. Does it make sense, guys? Perfect. So this is what uh, a standard agent is all about. So we have understood what is a advanced agent and a standard agent. Whenever you have batch processing to be done, anything which is to be done with respect to, like end of the month reporting, end of the month notification, stuff like that, something which needs to be done off user hours. For example, if the user is using your application from 8 to 5, at that point of time you don't want to load the servers. The batch processing is always supposed to be done when users are not using. For example, Saturday, Sunday is something when the users won't use. You have to figure out such durations and make sure you enable the agents on that on those times for processing. So this is what agent is all about. So we also understood that there is an agent schedule which gets created, which we checked from the agent schedule. So agents can be viewed from admin studio also, right? From admin studio also you can see the agents. There are multiple resources which you can see: agents, listeners, queue processors, jobs, stuff like that. And if you go to the dev studio, there is something called as agent schedule, from where you can verify a schedule. Agent schedule is nothing but, for example, from the sysadmin category, you can go to agent schedule. This is an instance which gets created when your agent is running. It creates a schedule. See, auto alpha auto is one of the schedule which got created. You can go and check. This particular schedule will have a different class. Control F, pxobj class. C. Data agent queue is a class for agent schedule. Agent schedule has a different class. Agent has a different class. If you see, whatever doesn't get associated with the rule set version, do we have a rule set associated with this thing? Agent schedule. Whatever is not associated with the rule set, for example, this agent schedule is belonging to data dash agent queue. However, the agent rule, for example, this is alpha auto agent schedule, right? If you go to the agent rule, see, this is the agent alpha auto. If you see, the class for this thing is pxobj class for this thing is rule agent queue. Are you able to understand? See, it is associated with the rule set version also. Alpha auto 010102. This is the agent rule. When this rule gets executed, it creates a schedule, agent schedule. In that schedule, alpha auto is one of the schedule which got created today, but it doesn't have a rule set associated with it and belongs to data hyphen agent hyphen q. Does it make sense, guys? Coming back again. To, to be able to perform this batch processing, we tried creating agents. Yes or no? Let me close everything. Explain you again. To perform batch processing, we are saying we will be utilizing agents. Do you agree? And to do that, we came to the sysadmin category and we created agents. We created one of the alpha auto agent, and then in that we created advanced as well as standard. One of the advanced agent we created was something like this, and also for standard we created one agent, standard agent. All this is doing is every 30 seconds it is waking up and performing some steps which are specified as part of this activity. Do we agree? The way we call it is different. For example, for advanced agent, you don't have to call or anything. As soon as you specify the period, Pega is automatically taking care of executing that. However, for standard agent, we have to explicitly call it by from a post action of a flow action, or some way we have to initiate this particular item. It will insert a item into the Postgres into the PRSysQs table, and the agent, whenever it runs, it picks up this record and performs uh, that operation and does whatever is necessary. Is that clear with respect to standard and advanced agents? Very good. Later, so whenever this agent is executed, when the system starts, when the Pega application is running, as soon as you create a agent, it creates a schedule for this agent, in the sense a instance of that particular agent. This is my agent. Do we agree? Agent name. This is a rule set where you created it. Belongs to rule agent Q class. Clear so far? When this agent gets executed in the system, it creates a schedule for that particular agent. If you open that, all it has is not associated with any of the rule set. It is performing, this particular schedule is performing that processing. Do we agree? Yes? No? If you delete this, the master agent will again create a schedule. I can delete this, and if I log out and log in, I'll see that there is another schedule which gets created. We saw that in our previous class. This is a schedule which got created for this particular agent, and this schedule will be taking care of all those processings. We can also modify it. See, it doesn't come with checkout, check-in or anything. Why? Because this is a data instance, not associated with any rule set. How can we say it is a data instance? The class it belongs to is data hyphen agent hyphen q. Yes or no? It doesn't belong to rule hyphen agent hyphen q. The something which belongs to rule hyphen agent hyphen q is the agent rule. Agents alpha. This belongs to rule hyphen, whatever belongs to rule hyphen classes is always associated with a rule set and a version. Yes or no? Does it make sense, guys? Should I explain this piece again? Yes? No? Very good. Okay. Also, one something which we understood was there are three modes. One is standard agent, advanced agent, both we covered. Legacy is for agents which were created in version 5.4 and before. No one is going to ask you what are those, but when you see it, you should know that this is for older versions, for versions before 5.4, which is not at all necessary. That is perfect. In standard agents, we'll be using auto queue management, which means you have to just insert the record in that particular agent table, and auto queue management will take care of waking up the agent and performing the task, whatever task you have specified here. AQM, it is also called as AQM. They will ask you what is auto queue management. Auto queue management is a mechanism within Pega which is utilized while using standard agents, which means whenever we want to utilize or run a standard agent, we can't run it explicitly, but Pega takes care of it using auto queue management facility. All we can do is we can call the queue for agent activity to insert a record in this particular table. As soon as the record is inserted in this table, Pega takes care of picking up each and every record and performing the processing. Does it make sense? Very good. This is what agents is all about. So there is much advanced topic with agents, something called as job schedulers and queue processors. I will introduce this thing in a later class. Right now, I just want you to absorb and understand what are standard and advanced agents. Does it make sense? Perfect. So, going one step further and taking you to the next topic, which is called as skimming. What do you understand from skimming? What is the definition of skimming? Let's go by that. Anyone? Mm-hmm. Okay, so that is a Pega definition. I want you to tell me a generic definition. Most of these terms are nothing but if you look at the term, it is, for example, if you are trying to go inside the exam hall and someone told you there is this chapter which is also very important, what will you do? Will you read it in detail or will just read at a high level and go inside? High, high level. The way you go through that all that content in a rush at once you take a glance, right? That is nothing but skimming. You're skimming through the entire chapter. You're not going in detail. Does it make sense? What is skimming? Skimming is a technique which is used while reading. Whenever you read, they will ask you skim through these topics, is what they say. When they don't, then they don't want you to read in detail. They will ask you to skim through these topics. Just reading at a high level and going inside. That's what skimming means. That is the original definition of skimming. Perfect. So in Pega also they use skimming when, for example, let us say you started development like for Alpha Auto, let us take. We started development in 010101. Do we agree? To colon 01 hyphen 01 hyphen 01, we started our development. This way, let us say, let us say you had a new release, you made it to, so you added your changes, you locked the above one and added your changes to 2. In the same way you did for 3, say for, so for 4, like that. Oh, sorry, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, let us say you have done sufficient changes here. Now you want to go to a next version. Let us say you want to, for example, let us say here also you have a activity. Let us say in this rule set we have an activity called uh, set address. Okay, you modified this activity. You first created it in here activity. Okay. Now when you went to the next version also you had some changes in this activity, so you modified it here as well. In version 3 also you modified, 4 also you modified, let us say 5 also you modified. Like this, if you keep doing, at one point what happens is these many rules will be existing in that system. Does it make sense? But whatever is the highest one will be called, or whatever will be circumstance will be called based on the rule resolution which we saw. Do we agree? Right, perfect. Now, for example, if you are moving from this particular environment, let us say you are on 8.7 now, we are on 8.7, and then we see that there is a new version coming in 8.8, and you want to upgrade this system to 8.8. Now, when you upgrade the system to 8.8, I'm just giving you an example. You don't want to take all these versions together with you. You don't want to take all these versions together with you. So what Pega tells, anyways, the highest version is the only one which is going to get executed. Yes or no? So it tells, okay, why don't you consolidate this and put it in one major? version. It tells, why don't you skim this, in the sense, if you don't need all this, you want only this. So it tells for the entire application, you can wrap this up and put it in one particular rule set, and we can just take that particular rule set. Once you start doing development, for example, for every 2 weeks, there will be a release. That way, you know how many numbers you will be making here. You'll be very fast reaching 99 and stuff like that. So based on the different rules you will be working on. Right now we are working limited rules because our application is very small. It's not like extensive. If you build it on a large scale, you will have hundreds of rule set versions getting created. So when you try to move from one environment to other environment, taking all those versions becomes a big challenge. You can't, migration is very challenging. To assist that, what Pega tells, I will help you by giving skimming as an option. So what skimming does is, the it's a process of copying all the rules from lower rule set version into next highest rule set version by eliminating duplicates. So these are duplicates, right? All these here, yes or no? Though there might be changes between them, but they are duplicates. This way you can have different activities. Set address is one. In the same way, in the same rule set, you might have uh, you know uh, a data transform, copy address data transform here, which you have to move. In the same way, you might have something else here, like a decision table, auto vehicle decision table, dt decision table here. That way different rules might be there. So in order to consolidate it and to remove duplicates, Pega provides you something called skimming. So there are two types of skimming. One is major skimming, another one is minor skimming. Let us see what is that. Of course, we will be doing a demo on that, but also we'll understand the theoretical concept behind major skimming and minor skimming. Two types of skimming. Major and minor skimming. So let us say in our application, our current version is example 01-01-02. This is our current version. Yes or no? Our current version is this. A minor scheme of this would be, yeah, 01-02-01. Minor scheme. Same way, a major scheme of this particular version will be 02-01-01. Make sense? When to go for minor, when to go for major, completely driven by the number of rule sets you have and the kind of requirement you have. Sometimes you will have too many rule sets and you're migrating from 8 point, let us say from 8.7 to 10.8 or 10 point something because you didn't upgrade till then. That time it is advised to go for major skimming. You're just moving between one from, you just want to categorize your your application to have a newer version with limited set of rules which are available here. Then you can go for minor skimming. In minor skimming, this particular the second, the middle number gets modified. In major skimming, the first number gets modified. Does it make sense? Yes? No? Perfect. Okay. So let's try to see how we can perform skimming within Pega, right? So of course, you have to check in all the rules before you think of skimming. I do have one rule. Let me check in this guy. Or yeah, bulk check-in is something which you have already seen. I'll show you again. To do a bulk check-in, you can click on this right symbol here and click on bulk actions. And you can specify a prefix. I'll specify work in progress. And you can say, you can select, if you have multiple records here, you can select them all and say insert and then say start. So it will check in. So you don't have to individually check in. If you have too many rules, you can utilize this bulk check-in option to check in all those. Perfect. Next thing is you will have to To move this rule set, you will have to lock this rule set version. Before you skim, you should always lock the rule set versions. You shouldn't have any open s- rule sets, because you won't be able to skim if you have open rule set. Right now, I do have 01002, which is unlocked. Let me lock this. To lock it, I'll come to the rule set version, click on lock and save, give your password. This password is something which every team has as unique. So your team lead or someone will be able to provide you that. Nothing to worry. What should be the password? Perfect. Now both my rule sets are locked. So now to proceed with skimming, let's perform minor skimming. Okay, let's perform a minor skimming and let us see where exactly I can access this skimming from. If you go to the configure button, you should be able to see something called as system in the drop down. Configure, system, and then if there is something called as refactor. Are we able to see this? Configure, system, refactor, rule sets. Configure, system, refactor, rule sets. This should give me a wizard. System, refactor, rule sets. And there are multiple options. Copy or merge a rule set, delete a rule set, skim a rule set. What is skimming? Copy the highest major or minor version of existing rules to a higher version. Does it make sense? Let us see what we are going to do as part of this. Let me click on skim a rule set. All I have done is configure, system, refactor, rule set. Coming back again. So we wanted to skim this particular application. So we came to system, refactor, rule sets. Here we chose skimmer rule set. So you want to understand skimming. So we are using skimmer rule set. Here alpha auto is my rule set which I am using. What is the major version? 01. What is the starting version? 010101. Yes, right? Because this is where we started first development. Do we agree? Ending version is 010102 because we only have two versions. In the same way, if we had 0101-98, it would show 98 versions here. If you want to modify and choose something else, you can do that also. We only have two, that is why it is showing like this. If you want to choose some specific version also, you can choose here. You can click on the drop down and you'll be able to choose that. Here we only have two, so it is showing us two. Now here you can give whatever is your new version. Right now we are trying to perform a minor version, minor skim. So it will be 01 hyphen hyphen, that's wrong, skim should be 01 hyphen 02 hyphen 01. Why is my hyphen not working? Copy. Oh, sorry. This is happening because I have chosen major version rule set scheme, which is not the case. We want to do minor version scheme. Now I should be able to provide. See, does it make sense? See, we want to do a minor scheme. That is why we are providing this. If it is major, only this digit varies. After that, 0101 automatically comes when you scheme that. That is why it is not doing that. So right now you want to do minor scheme. So 01 hyphen 02 hyphen 01. And all you can do is click on skim. Are we able to understand how skimming is done, guys? Yes? No? Just click on skim and it should give you a progress bar where it will be pulling all the records from both these versions. It will pull all the records and it will put it in this. So you won't have multiple different records with 01 and 02. Only one set of records gets skimmed and gets inserted into this particular rule set version. 01-02. See, it is pulling all those records. Interesting. So, skimming complete. Please use application validation tool to validate the newly created rule set is what it is telling. So, the skimming has been complete. 207 rules were moved to this particular new rule set. Does it make sense? Yes? No? Perfect. Now, let us see the alpha auto. If I refresh this guy, see 0102-01 Pega automatically took the best highest version from both these rule sets and created this new rule set version, minor skimmed rule set version. Yes or no? Now when I try to create a rule, what should Pega give me as the rule set version? Let us say I want to, yes, who is it? Tell me. What should be the, okay, agreed. So let us try to create an activity. Let me say test. Test 123 is the activity name. Auto insurance. But it's telling no rule set versions available. What could be the issue, guys? Is my rule set version unlocked? It is, right? This rule set version is unlocked, but still I'm not able to see that this particular version reflecting here. Yes, no, right? What could be the issue? Whenever you try to skim a rule set version to a highest rule set version, always go and verify your application rule. How will I verify my application rule? Just click on this particular application tab here. Click on definition. Coming back again. We are trying to create a new rule, but we are not seeing any rule set version here. Sometimes you might see a different rule set version. If I choose alpha insurance, may I get anything? No. Sometimes you might get integration rule set or something. But we are not able to get alpha out of the rule set version where we have to store it. Why? We are figuring out that all you have to do is go back to your application. I can access that from the header bar. Click on this application drop down, click on definition. This will open you the application rule. Is this my application alpha auto 010101? Alpha auto insurance. This is my application, right? Yes or no? And look at your stack. This is called as application rule set stack. What is your application rule set stack pointing to? 0101. Here you are limiting your application to access rule sets only till 0101. It will be able to access till 01-01-19, but it won't be able to access 01-02. Yes or no? See, for example, if you want, you can do this also. 99. Of course, it will throw because we don't have a 99 version. That's fine. But it won't let you access 01-02. Why? Because you have not specified it here. Now let me specify that here. Okay. Let me say 01-02. All you have to do is come to your application rule and modify this to your latest rule set. skimmed version 01-02. After this, you can have till 01-02-99. It will pick it up. No issues. If you specify first two major and minor, the patch is not necessary. See, major and minor, major and minor. 01-01-99. Till then, this is okay. As soon as it moves to the next minor version, it has to be specified here. Save this. Same thing is true for major also. Now, let me cancel and recreate the activity. Let us see if it gives me. Does it make sense, guys? Are we able to understand what is skimming? Very good. Two types of skimming, major and minor. Very important. What is skimming in Pega? So, three things we have to take away from today's class. Of course, advanced agents. Advanced agents are something which we will use for background processing. You don't have to, explicitly call it as soon as you create it. Pega takes care of calling it for a given schedule and execute it. In the same way, we do have standard agents. Standard agents are something which you will be calling explicitly. How, for example, in post processing of a flow action, you can specify an activity which calls queue for agent and places a record in PR sys queues. And auto queue management is going to take care of each and every item which is there in this particular queue to process it and perform whatever operation it has to do. Here we are trying to send a notification to a user. We are using it. We used it to send to standard agent activity. Auto queue management. What is auto queue management? A mechanism which standard agents use in Pega to process the records which are scheduled for processing. That's what it is. Perfect. And it does come with statuses. Whenever the record gets inserted, it has a scheduled status. Once it is in progress, it is called in processing. Once it is completed, either it goes to success or broken process status. Of course, for every agent, there will be a agent schedule, which is a data instance and is not associated with any rule set. We can modify this data instance, stop and start, stuff like that. And to manage these agents, we can use Admin Studio as well. Yes or no? Perfect. That was with respect to agents. And then we jumped into skimming. Skimming is used to pick or consolidate multiple patches into one minor or major version. We saw that we had multiple patch versions. We consolidated it into one minor version. And then using the skimming wizard. The skimming wizard was accessible from configure, system, and refactor. Go to rule sets, and then we are able to perform skimming of a rule set where we skimmed and put all the latest and greatest rules into 01-02-01, post which we were trying to create a rule but we are not able to. Why? Because we had not modified the application rule to be able to pick the minor version. We came here and we modified, and we were able to see that the system is now able to pick the latest rule set version which was skimmed. Yes or no? Yes or no, guys? Perfect. So that was the takeaway from today's class. Tomorrow we'll try to take a look at a more interesting topic with this, which is with respect to case designers and case types. Thank you. If you don't have any questions, we can drop.